Nepal's stock market currently projects an image of vigorous health. The index has touched an all-time high of 3,079 points, and the queues for new IPOs have become a fixture of daily life. This visualization shows a growing disconnect. It compares the total value of all companies on the exchange against Nepal's entire gross domestic product. At its peak, the market's capitalization reached roughly 130% of the country's GDP. But look at the data beneath the hype. During this same cycle, actual GDP growth averaged just 4 to 5%. Industrial output remained flat, while non-performing loans in the banking sector began to rise. This suggests the market is no longer operating as an engine for national capital formation. Instead, it is behaving like a liquidity-driven funnel, where the savings of a crowded public basin are redirected toward a much smaller, isolated vault. When valuations balloon without an earnings foundation to sustain them, the market stops building wealth and begins redistributing it. To understand why this matters, we have to look at the specific mechanisms used to move that money. The first mechanism relies on the bait, the IPO market. Currently, nearly half of the companies queued for approval are concentrated in a single weather-dependent sector, hydropower. This is the physical reality of the shares being sold. Many are construction phase, run-of-river projects carrying heavy debt loads and seasonal revenue profiles. This chart outlines the seasonal cash flow stress test. Summer monsoons bring cash, but dry winter revenues drop below debt levels. Regulators ignore this risk. Despite B- ratings, the white gold narrative triggers massive oversubscriptions, 100 buyers per share. These extreme oversubscription rates track retail sentiment and the fear of missing out, rather than the actual quality of the project. They represent the systematic packaging of concentrated risk for an uninformed public. Once the public is in the door, the second mechanism takes over, the blindfold. This is a structural information lag, an intentional blind spot that keeps the public completely in the dark while others act. The information lag index reveals a dangerous gap. It takes up to 90 days for corporate events to reach the public. During this window, insiders sell. When disclosure finally happens, retail investors buy positions that informed actors have already exited. This vacuum is filled by Telegram channels and social media influencers promoting specific stocks to massive audiences. They do this often without disclosing their own positions or their planned exit strategies. When 80% of participants base decisions on delayed data, their losses become predictable. It is the predictable byproduct of a game designed entirely to privilege those with early access to the truth. Why does this manipulation persist? The answer lies in the institutional paralysis of Nepal's regulator, SEBIN. SEBIN operates with manual surveillance tools and has a near-zero history of prosecuting insider trading. This stands in sharp contrast to India's SEBI, pictured here, using AI-based detection to catch pump-and-dump patterns in real time. Nepal's regulatory architecture is also prone to total bottlenecks. When a single chairperson departed SEBIN, billions of rupees in IPO activity stalled for 18 months due to a lack of leadership. The rules for a fair market exist on paper, but the lack of enforcement means the regulators have effectively left the vault door wide open for the organized, systematic transfer of the public's savings. This isn't just a problem for stock traders. The Nepal Roster Bank oversees a banking sector that routes massive amounts of public liquidity into this market through margin lending for equity purchases. When these speculative cycles crash, ordinary household savings deposited in banks are converted into speculative losses and non-performing loans. The damage ripples through the entire financial system. These failures are not inevitable features of a developing economy. They are the result of policy choices, and they can be reversed with a concrete agenda for reform. This diagram shows the Retail Vulnerability Index. By tracking high retail participation and extreme oversubscription against weak disclosure quality, regulators can identify and warn the public about dangerous bubbles before they pop. Until enforcement moves from paper to practice, the market remains a wolf in sheep's clothing. It is up to the individual investor to recognize the disguise before handing over their savings to a machine designed to eat them.